Applications with equations. Okay, so for example 1, we're given, suppose that m equals n minus 11. Find m when n equals negative 5. Okay, so we're given this equation. And then we're told we want to figure out what the m value is. Oh, let me go back. Want to figure out what the m value is when we know that n is negative 5. All right, so let's go ahead and write down our equation. M equals n minus 11. So we're going to be inputting negative 5 in place of n. We're going to substitute in that negative 5 value. All right, let's go ahead and do that. So m equals, and we're taking out n, but we know that n equals negative 5. So we're going to go ahead and substitute that in. So we made that swap. So then m equals, well, negative 5 minus 11 is going to be negative 16. So m equals negative 16. All right, find n when m equals negative 4. So same thing, but this time, instead, we're given m and told to find n. So we're doing kind of the reverse now. All right, let's go ahead and just copy down our equation. m equals n minus 11. And let's sub in that value, negative 4, for m. So we're going to be subbing this out for negative 4. All right, but notice, n is not by itself. We need to get n by itself to solve for n. So to get n on one side, we're going to go ahead and add 11 to get rid of it from this side. But then we have to balance the equation. Remember, this is an equation. We have to add 11 to both sides. Let's go ahead, use the arrow to indicate where I'm going. So now we have, right here, we have negative 4 plus 11. So negative 4 plus 11, that's going to be 7. Oh, sorry, 7, not 9. So n equals 7. And then we're done. All right, so now we're going to do application word problems. So for the rest of the course, okay, please pay attention. Oops. For the rest of this course, okay, very important. You need to do the following. You need to write a let statement. So what does that mean? Well, a let statement is basically just when you tell me what your variable means. For example, because if you're going to write an equation with x equals, x equals 2y plus 5, you need to tell me, because I'm your reader, I'm reading your work, you would need to tell me what y and x equal. So for example, you might say, let x equal number of hot dogs. And you might say, let y equal number of chips. Okay, so that would be a let statement. So you'd want to go ahead and, get rid of that. All right. Sorry, trying to erase this. First time using this little thing to write my lectures. All right, here we go. So next step, you're going to create an equation using your let statement. Then you're going to solve, and finally answer in a complete sentence. All right, so for example 2, the depth in inches of water that accumulates from melted snow can be found by dividing the amount of snowfall in inches by 12. Okay, so we're given some information in this this word problem. And then we're told, let S equal the amount of snowfall in inches, and W equal the amount of accumulated water in inches. Okay, so we have two variables, S and W. Let me change the colors here on that one. And And for part A, we're told to write the formula we need to calculate the amount of accumulated water in inches. All right, so let's look at our problem. We're told the depth in inches that accumulates from melted snow can be found. Okay. It can be found by doing what? Dividing the amount of snowfall by 12. Okay. So, we're going to divide the amount of snowfall by 12. Well, S is the amount of snowfall, so we're going to divide S by 12. And we know that when we divide the amount of snowfall by 12, that is how we get the water that accumulates. Okay, which would be W. So we have W equals S divided by 12. That was the amount of accumulated water equals the amount of snowfall divided by 12. All right. Okay, so there's our equation. Now notice we don't have to write a let statement because we're already given a let statement right there. So less work for us. Awesome. All right, so D, determine the amount of accumulated water if there was 24 inches of snowfall. So we're trying to figure out the amount of accumulated water. Well, the amount of accumulated water is W. Okay, that's the amount of accumulated water. So we're going to try find W. So find W when what? When there was 24 inches of snowfall. Okay, so 24 inches of snowfall. The snowfall amount, remember, that was S. So there, we're going to find W when S equals 24. Okay? Because remember, amount of accumulated water is W. All right, let's go ahead and do that. Similar to what we've been doing in example 1, we're going to find W, and in our equation, instead of using S, we're going to replace S with 24. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Replacing S with 24, what do we get? Well, 24 divided by 12 is just going to be 2. So W equals 2. All right, now we got to write a sentence for this. So the amount of accumulated water. And let's see, what are the units? The units are going to be up here in inches. Okay, so, oops, I went too far. The amount of accumulated water in inches is 2, period. Or you could say there are 2 inches of accumulated water. Different ways to write the sentences. As long as you get the main point across and you use the correct answer and you use your correct units. In this case, for our problem, the units is inches. All right, part C, last part. Determine the amount of snowfall that produces 6 inches of accumulated water. Okay, so let's see. So this time we're trying to find the amount of snowfall. So the amount of snowfall is S. Let's go back up to the top here. The amount of snowfall is S. Okay? So we're trying to find the amount of snowfall that produces 6 inches of accumulated water. So we're given that we have 6 inches of accumulated water. And remember, the accumulated water is W. So what we're doing is we want to find S when W is 6. Because remember, W is our accumulated water, and S is our amount of snowfall. Let's go ahead and plug that into our equation. So let's see, our equation, let me just rewrite our equation, is S over 12. But we're going to be switching out W with 6. So let's go ahead and do that. That's going to be 6 equals S over 12. And we're solving for S. So let's go ahead and keep solving. I'm going to move my work over here. So we have 6 equals S divided by 12. Now to get S by itself, notice S is being divided by 12. Okay, so currently it's being divided by 12. So how do we undo division? Well, multiplication. Okay, so we're going to multiply both sides by, oops, let's go back to the other pen, by 12. Okay, because when we do that, those cancel. But remember, we're in an equation, so we need to multiply the other side by 12. Okay, so then we have 6 times 12. Let's go ahead and work that out on the side real quick. 12 times 6, that's going to be 12, carry the 1. 6 times 1, 6, 72. All right, so S equals 72. Oops, wrong pen color. So what would our answer be? Well, remember, S is the amount of snowfall. So there would be 72 inches of snowfall. And you could go ahead and write out the word inches if you wanted. You don't need to, but as long as you in some way indicate the inches unit, that's good. All right, and that is it for 2.6.